ikafika September ndio nikaenda shule.
How was your first day in campus?
My first day in campus was just a terrible day because it was the reporting day. We were supposed to have 26k thereabout, but kwa hizi houses zenye nilikuwa nimefanya, I guess nilikuwa nimetumia hiyo pesa. So my parents only had around I guess 7,000. So hatugeruhusiwa kuingia na 7,000 because they needed 26,000 na pesa ya accommodation. I guess that was coming to around 5,000 thereabout. So around 31k, but we had 7,000. So you are told you cannot join the university, that is the University of Nairobi, without first clearing your fee. So we had to go home. It was such a disappointing moment because then you umepita already, you have your papers, but you can't join school because hakuna school fees. So I started my schooling in a place called Motamayo. Motamayo Primary School is in Engineer Ward, that is in Nyandarua County, on the slope of the Abadeas. And it's funny because those days it was very cold. I didn't have shoes, so and I'm just a young boy. I would cry all my way from home to school. But I still tried and did my best. But when the exam came for the final, the final exam for the first year, I did not perform very well. So when the results came, I had failed in one unit, histology and embryology, which later came to be a very big testimony. Because that unit which I failed, nikarudi tena, ikabidi nifanye supplementary. So when I did the supplementary, I failed. I was discouraged. So at that moment,
we have decided to bring you something different on set today. It's my close friend. He will introduce himself. Just be ready to hear what he has to say. You may learn a thing or two. Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you so much, my good friend Macharia, for having me today on set. My name is Dr. Paul Kangethe. I am a veterinary surgeon, but above all, I'm born again. I am a father of 2 beautiful daughters, and I'm also a husband.
Oh, okay. Dr. Paul Kangethe, kindly tell us, where did you grow up?
That question takes me back many years ago, because I grew up in the slopes of the Abadeas, that is in Engineer Ward, which is in Kinangop constituency, Nyandarua County. So that is where I grew up from the time I was born until when I went to the university. That is when I moved from the village and came to the city.
So Engineer, it's in which county?
Engineer is in Kinangop constituency, Nyandarua County. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can also tell our viewers also about your school, where you went to school, what you achieved, just in a nutshell of your school life.
Interesting. For one, personally, since I was very young, nilipenda tu masomo. And growing up, I started my schooling in a place called Motamayo. Motamayo Primary School is in Engineer Ward, that is in Nyandarua County, on the slope of the Abadeas. And it's funny because those days it was very cold. I didn't have shoes, so and I'm just a young boy. I would cry all my way from home to school, because I used to go up with my brothers and sisters to school. And during that time, it was frosted. Frosted meaning what those people called banegwete, as in it's very cold. So you're walking on bare feet, it's very cold, you are numb, so you cry all the way to school. But despite that, I managed to school in that particular school from class 1 up to somewhere about class 6. From where now I went to another school and called Multani Primary School when my parents moved places. That is where now I finished my primary education. That was in Multani Primary School.
What was the reason for shifting from one school to the other?
The reason as to why I shifted is that a good initially we were renting into in that particular place, and when one of our friends offered his land that we could stay in that house and look after his properties thereabout, when he moved to Naivasha, then my parents took that opportunity and moved to that new place now, from Mutamayo to Kahuru. Yeah, now Kahuru is in engineer world still, but now the school that I went to is not Kahuru Primary, because I heard Kahuru Primary was not performing better like Motaine Primary, so we opted to go to Motaine Primary.
Tell us, back in primary school, how was Dr. Paul Kangethe, the small boy, leave alone now this Dr. Paul Kangethe, the big man we are seeing today?
I would say school was just normal, despite those small issues of maybe the frost in the morning. The rest of the day was okay, because back in the day I was still a bright boy. I used to come position 1, 2, 3. There's a good friend of mine called David Kerori. He's also a veterinarian, and a good friend of mine. We used to compete, yeah. So we would compete. He comes position 1, I come position 2. When each of us is defeated, we would go kwa shamba yao kulikuwa na kamuto somewhere. So we would go and cry and make a promise that he will not defeat me again. So we used to alternate. He cries this term, I cry next time, like that. Until then I moved to school, then kamwacha kwa hiyo shule ya Mutamayo, then I moved to Motaine. But school life was I just worked hard, because I knew what I wanted to be, that I had to perform well. So all along I've been consistently performing well, because I knew that with education at least there is a good hope for some future life, some future nice life. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. You are a bright student.
Yeah, I will not say it's because of my effort or anything. Okay, I tried to read, but you know, people are gifted differently.
Yes.
Some people are gifted with the ability to do well in school, others in sports, others in arts, others in non-curricular activities like maybe drama and many other things. But so for me, education was my thing. Like I just loved doing it up to this moment. Yeah.
And how did you score? In the KCPE.
When we moved to school, I had I consistently was getting about 350, 360 there, but I was hoping probably I would get, say, around 400 marks for my KCPE. But I was able to manage 365 out of the possible 500. So that is the mark that I got.
Okay.
Yes.
Before we move from primary school, I just want you to tell us, which is that one thing you ever did in primary school until today you still remember?
Okay. Okay, of course there are many incidents. I remember there is a day I came late. When we moved schools, we would cross 2 rivers to that particular school. One called Mokuru and another to Russia, on my way to Motaine Primary. So at that particular time, then it happened that I was ready to go to school. I guess probably I woke up late or something. And so when I went to school, our teacher, then the teacher on duty was the deputy principal. He was our maths teacher and everybody feared him. He went and plucked some cypress trees and some leaves of some cypress trees. Ile vitari tuchapa. So that is one incident. Later, the same teacher, there is a friend of mine called, okay, I won't mention his name at the moment, but he was a good friend of mine, though he dropped school. So we had this idea we would cheat an exam for him. Of course, now that is very wrong, yeah?
Yes.
But then he would pay me to just do the exam for him. So we used to like have a trick. Naenda na feature naandika, I have 2 scripts. One, answer sheets. One with his name and another with mine. So I just copy paste, yeah? But now one girl saw me communicating with him, because I used to hide. Once I finish early the exam, I go and hide that paper in the washroom, from where you go pick it and now come and submit. And because it was me who was going to again correct, I would make sure that I have taken the one which I knew I wrote, and then leave his, which he would chew or something else. But one girl saw us and reported us to that teacher. Ile vita tulichapwa. From that day, I've never cheated. That was in class 7. I've never cheated in exam again. So it was just cheeky way of life, but then I know better at this moment. Yeah.
Na alikulipa ngapi? Alikuwa anakulipa ngapi hivi?
Then it was 5 bob ile ya karatasi. And that was a lot of money in 2006 because you'd buy like ngumu karibu 5. Yeah? So kangumu kama 5. And because I was not going for lunch, so I thought ingekuwa opportunity mzuri ya
kupata sorted.
Pesa. Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah, yes.
Also tell us about your high school life.
So when I finished my primary school and got 365,
yes,
I had request what was that? There was selection for high school.
Okay. Which school did you select? Your dream school?
Nyahururu High School.
Okay. Nyahururu Boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that was a good school. Also Nyandarua High School was there, but then my parents could not afford me to take me to that school because my father is a mason as well as a carpenter, and my mom just is a farmer. Yeah, she just works on the farm. So at that moment they could not raise the fee for me to go to Nyandarua High School. But now what happened is that there was an opportunity of repeating, but I asked myself, now repeating with these marks, probably it is not a very good idea. So on one day now, in the process of looking for school fees, we went and met the then member of parliament, one David Goge. So we went and he gave us a bursary. Okay. He gave us some money. I guess that was around 4,000 or thereabout. So that is the money I used to go to Form 1. I bought my school uniforms and I paid some school fees. So that is what I used to join Mwedado Secondary School with, because Mwedado was very near my home, like about 2 kilometers thereabout, or 3 kilometers, which I would go in the morning and in the evening as a day scholar throughout my high school life here. So that was much like it.
Okay. So, and how did you perform there?
Okay, I would say I decided to work harder than when I was in primary school. Because for Mwedado, it was known that not many people from there were going to the university. Okay. But when I joined Form 1, I met one student called Philip. When he finished, he was given a scholarship to go study medicine in Russia. So we interacted with him during one of those after class lessons. Yes. He was teaching me some chemistry about luminous and non-luminous frames. I don't know if you can remember those things from one chemistry. I remember. So he really encouraged me, and I decided that I would work very hard. So I started working hard as from Form 1. So I would go to school early in the morning, say about, my dad would wake me around 3 in the morning. I would prepare, leave home by 4. So by the time boarders wanaamuka, wananikuta niko shule. It's called Musora or something. So when they are waking up, niko shule. So we would study together over to reach 6. They go for breakfast. I continue studying because sikuwa nimeripia ujia asubuhi, so I would not take that. Still in high school, since now I didn't manage to go to the high school the high school I wanted, I knew I had to work hard. And in this case now, I decided to work even harder. Thank God I met one of the former students of Mwedado Primary School, which now I joined after my primary school at Moteni. And he had just finished. He got, I guess, an A- or thereabout. And he was awarded a scholarship. His name is Philip. He was awarded a scholarship to go study medicine in Russia. So in one of those lessons after school, after classes, interacting with him, asking him a few questions on chemistry, Form 1. He was teaching me some things about luminous and non-luminous frames. So I don't know if you can remember those things.
I remember those things.
So in that case now, he was telling me about, he was teaching me these particular things. And in that case then, I decided to work harder because personally also I wanted to do human medicine. But as it were, God had other plans for me. So I worked very hard in high school particularly. given that my parents were struggling to pay my school fees, I could not disappoint them. Yeah, and therefore my dad would wake me up in the morning at around 3. I would prepare, be ready by 4, and go to school, just walking. It was dark, but I would manage. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's raining, saa ingine kuna matope mingi, but beyond all that, I had just to work hard and overcome all these obstacles to make sure that I have performed well. So in high school now, I would be there by 4 when the boarders are waking up, and study with them up to the time the Amsora was out, say around 6 there. They go prepare in the dormitory. By the time they are coming back around 7 for our remedios, then I would then be studying across that period. Up to lunch time, I would save and create time. Lunch time, we would leave around 12:40. So I would rush, and thank God teachers, all teachers were my friends, so to say. So I would not queue. So for me, I would just go, hata watu wamepanga line napita tu nachukua wa kwanza. So mimi sikupanga line ya Food High School. So I just had that grace, special grace, I would say. And then by 10 minutes past 1, I would be in class again. As the others are waiting to come 20 minutes later, you can imagine 20 minutes of every day times 5 for the week times a month and the 4 years. So that's how I used to create my time. And then over evening, then I would study again, and I would study into the night with them again up to when they went to sleep around. I would leave around 9 thereabout and go home. So I would meet my parents are waiting for me with hot food na maji ya kuoga, naoga, nasoma kidogo up to maybe 12. I'll go sleep. So in high school, I really worked hard, even in some other things like Science Congress, going to other schools and showing them how you can do a few things. There was a project we had with another guy called Paul Kangethe. I remember him. Nowadays he's an accountant. Is he an accountant? I guess he studied maths business in KU, but I guess he's doing businesses out here, so he's doing well. And also maths contest, going to Mangu High School for those maths contests, just enjoying life and meeting other people who are challenging you to do more. Yeah, so I would say that was much like my high school life.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you ever been suspended in high school?
Never. I have never been suspended because of indiscipline. The only time we were sent home is when some classmates, I don't want to mention names, decided that they want to strike. And at that moment now, munatumwa nyumbani like a whole stream. I guess we were in Form 3 that time.
Okay.
So tukatumwa nyumbani sisi wote, and we had to come back. Now when we came back, the only time I was given a punishment was that time, because you were to be cleared first before going to class, and those who are cleared and those who are not cleared were not supposed to interact or talk. So it happened, one of my friends akakuja kuniongeresha. There is something I wanted from him, so nikaenda kumuongeresha. So when the deputy principal saw us, he just called us. He was a no-nonsense teacher, and still is current, I guess he's the current deputy, called Mr. Mwangi Bogwa. Salutes to you, Mwarimu. You made some nice people out of us. So he gave us punishment ya kuchimba mahali pa kuweka uchafu, dustbin. Some, I guess, 3 meters by 4 by 2 meters. So we had to really dig, myself and that friend tukapewa kazi ya kuchimba hiyo shimo. So but that's the only time I was ever found in disciplinary cases. Hizo zingine singenipata kwa list ya noisemaker hata nini. So for me it was easy, na singechelewa kuja shule because I was even reaching before the teachers come or even the boarders wake up. So
Well, I understand Mwendado is a mixed school.
Yes.
Have you ever been caught with those issues, petty issues, which are normally found? It's normal to students, coupling, those kind of stories.
Mimi sitadanganya. I had a girlfriend when I was in high school.
Yes.
But now our friendship was ni ile ya kusaidiana. Yeah, she was very good in physics and in maths as well. I was also good in maths, but chemistry kidogo ilikuwa inamremea. So niyo urafiki ya kusaidiana. And at that time ni mtu mwenye hujui what the future will become. So you just continue and be nice friends with those people, but you know, people will always talk and say many things. Oh, sijui utaanguka mtihani because you are with that particular girl, sijui nini vitu mingi, yeah? But fun beyond, life happens. Mtu anaamua kwenda njia zake nini, but thank God we still friends. So
oh, you're still friends?
Yes.
Oh, that's powerful. Okay, you can also tell us one of those moments, your exciting moments in high school.
There is this one moment when say several.
Okay.
Good, bad. I will start with the bad ones. There is one day we went to the chemistry laboratory. We were supposed to, there is a particular way you open a Bunsen burner. You remove the clip below here, and then you switch it off first. You remove the clip below here, and then you remove the cartridge and then get a new one and put in. Iendelee kuwaka. So for me, I forgot to switch it off. So once I started removing here, ikaripuka na tuko kwa chemistry laboratory, a whole class. It was a double lecture. Our teacher by then, may God rest his soul in peace, alikuwa anaitwa Mr. Wambogo. So I don't know where he came from, but he came and swept that Bunsen burner yenye ilikuwa inawaka na teke. Akaisweep akaingiza huko ndani ya hiyo preparation room. Akajifungia huko nayo akaizima. I don't know how he did it. That was a frightening moment because my classmates had started screaming and everybody knew hapa sasa tunakufa. Thank God. It not.
Hamukuwahi ona Bunsen burner hapo awali?
No, tulikuwa tunaziona. But ni vile tu, I guess I was excited or something. I didn't follow instructions.
No, okay.
Every alikuwa ametuambia kufanya, but thank God he's saved the situation. The other moment is when in the science congress we had a project with my friend Paul Kangethe. We went and presented in the regionals wapi tukaenda hadi Mangu. So not Mangu, Alliance High School. That was the national presentation. Hizi zingine the levels zingine zote tulikuwa tunapita position 1. We were making some ointment using ndimu, avocado na some other things tulikuwa tunatumia kujipaka tu, so some tulikuwa tunaita alveolar lotion. I can't remember the name. That was a project in 2009. We were, I guess, in Form 3 that time. So we did that project and went up to the national level. That really was a very great moment for me. And I would say just high school life was just interesting.
What about funkies? Did you ever attend those things, funkies, those tours?
Funkies, I'm not sure I did, because usually hizo zilikuwa watu wanaenda Saturday and ours was a mixed school. So funkies ilikuwa back to back, like every time, because ladies are there and those things. But going for maybe zilikuwa zinaitwa nini, we can challenge other schools. Some other schools were coming to our school, but mimi sikuwahi ati nimeenda another school kufanya hizo, but vitu kama kuwatch shows za nini za hizi novels, set books, vitu kama hizo, yeah, we went to other schools to see that, but funky hapana.
You watch, which set book did you watch?
In our time, we had the main set book was which was this, The River Between. And then that is the one we went and watched. And then we also held An Enemy of the People by Dr. Stockman. And then we had for Swahili we had Utengano, and we had this one was called Mayai, Waziri wa Maradhi na hadithi zingine. And then we had Kifo Kisimani. Yeah.
Okay.
So those were the stories that I guess we did in high school.
Yes. River Between.
Yes.
Who was your best character?
My best character was what would I say? I would say I loved all of them, but I would say akina Nyambura, akina Mudhoni, akina Chege, they were just interesting characters because some of them were rebels, wengine wana stick to traditions, vile wanaambiwa, others thought outside the box. So I would say it was just an inspiring book to read, as it were. Yes.
And how did you perform?
For high school now, I managed to get an A-, which
in a day school.
Yes, an A- of 75 points, which now helped me to go to the University of Nairobi. Yes. And thank God that my record has not yet been broken, or if it has, maybe once.
So you are the first one to get
Yes.
an A minus in that
Exactly.
school.
Yes.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. Because
Yeah.
my parents told me one thing.
Mm.
All the schools are the same.
Mm.
Because I know people who we schooled with in primary, some got some other marks na wakaenda shule za juu, other friends went to hizo the national schools. But my parents always told me it is just about you, what you do in that particular school, hata kama ni day school ama ni nini, borake uko shule na unasoma. What you do there is the determinant. Shule ni jina tu. Because you may find someone in a national school, say Ryan's getting a C+, and someone in a day school getting an A minus. So it's just about what are you willing to do for your situation. That makes all the difference.
What kind of an advice you tell that student who is watching you?
Yes.
From a day school?
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe he is saying he did not go to the school of his choice or her choice.
Okay, I always say bora the school is has facilities, because that is important. That the teachers are there doing their work, and most importantly, it is just dependent on you as an individual. If you know what you want and your parents are ready and willing to pay for you school fees, then your only job is to study. You are not supposed to stress over sijui ati school fees itatoka wapi ama nini. Wewe ni mwanafunzi at that particular moment, so you just make sure that you study, and once you study, God is faithful. He blesses the work of people's hands. So you just work hard for what you want. Yes.
So it's possible to make it even in day school and to get those good grades, to get that A.
I did it.
You did it, sure.
So for other people it is possible.
It's
But
possible.
they are willing to put in the work that is required to get them those good grades.
Okay, now you have finished. You are done with your high school.
Yes.
Utapata kazi ya kufunza kidogo ama how is it now?
In fact, that is what happened. I was called back to the same school, and I taught Form 1, Form 2s, basically all subjects, because I was good in all subjects, except Kiswahili, because there were many teachers who were teaching Swahili, and Swahili was not my best. Yeah.
Okay.
But for maths, chem, bio, geography, English, all the others, business studies and the rest, I could teach. But then we taught the whole of 2011 because after finishing in 2010, I was to join campus in 2012 September. So, but then it happened that we were not given that announcement ya kwamba hatuko kazi January. So the principal, there was a circular, I guess, from the Ministry of Education that if anyone has not done education, they are not supposed to be teaching in the school. So hivyo ndivyo tulikosa kazi. So in January tukaanza kutafuta. Thank God through my business high school teacher, Mr. Mwangi Jogu, may God bless you, akasaidia akanikatafutia shule ingine huko inaitwa St. Paul's. Hapo ndio tulienda kufunza, tukafunza for some 6 months. The boys started misbehaving, wakaanza strike nini huko. I thought it's not worth it, so I had a friend of mine in Narok, James Gedaiga Mwangi, then he was working in Narok. I decided to go and just stay at his place. So huko tu tulikuwa tunafanya tu biashara ndogo ndogo, but then ikafika September ndio nikaenda shule.
How was your first day in campus?
My first day in campus was just a terrible day because it was the reporting day. We were supposed to have 26k thereabout, but kwa hizi houses zenye nilikuwa nimefanya, I guess nilikuwa nimetumia hiyo pesa. So my parents only had around I guess 7,000. So hatungeruhusiwa kuingia na 7,000 because they needed 26,000 na pesa ya accommodation. I guess that was coming to around 5,000 thereabout. So around that 1k, but we had 7,000. So you are told you cannot join the university, that is the University of Nairobi, without first clearing your fee. So we had to go home. It was such a disappointing moment because then you umepita already, you have your papers, but you can't join school because hakuna school fees. So what happened now is that tukarudi nyumbani. I stayed at home for around 3 weeks. Then in one of those AGMs, the parents had come. I decided just to go. I talked to the deputy principal, Mr. Mwangi Bogwa, to agree. I'll just go and just share my pride with the parents. You never know what would come about. So that was in the month of September 2012. So mi nikaenda nikaongelesha wanafunzi. The deputy principal introduced me, akasema this was our bright student, ameitwa University of Nairobi, he had an A- but ameshindwa kujoin Johana fee. So kidogo watu wakasema tuchange. Yeah. Then hizo karatasi zilikuwa zinatumika bado hizi za, you remember the blue paper bags?
Yes.
I mean the green, the yellow and the black ones.
Yeah.
Wakatafuta hizo za green na za black, wakaanza kuchanga. Thank God walichanga around 32,000
in that
from
school.
that. Yes. Kwa hiyo meeting ya wazazi to 50 bob, 20 bob, 1,000 nini. So nikaweza sasa kwenda shule. But now I remember this is happening 3 weeks after my classmates have joined college.
I see.
So it was a very difficult time for me to catch up, because you are studying units like gross anatomy, that is first year of veterinary medicine, gross anatomy, histology and embryology, zingine kama physiology, biochemistry and HIV and AIDS. And in one day class ziko 8 to 5 na wako na class from Monday to Friday except Wednesday afternoon. So notes nilikuta karibu ya 200 pages inajaa. So nikujaribu copy and they are just new concepts nini. It was difficult for me that first semester. Tena issues of food nini uko Nairobi, you know, all those things. But I still tried and did my best. But when the exam came for the final the final exam for the first year, I did not perform very well. So when the results came, I had failed in one unit, histology and embryology, which later came to be a very big testimony, because that unit which I failed, nikarudi tena ikabidi nifanye supplementary. So when I did the supplementary, I failed. I was discouraged. So at that moment now, that is 2013, around August. Sasa June, I have started first year in the month of September 2012. Tumesoma hadi April, tumeenda long holiday, but hakuna long holiday, unaenda attachment. I went to Narok again to stay with my friend, but I was going to the DVO hapo Narok, anaitwa, then he was Dr. Njau. So it was a very difficult moment because I have never failed any exam in my life. Now I'm in the university and I am failing an exam. It was the most difficult time of my life.
Will you inform your parents?
I had not informed them at that moment, but I told them kuna exam moja nimeanguka. So I went and did a supplementary. So
which you also failed? Which
I also failed. Now I had to do a retake. That was but because there was a double intake in 2013, so I had to wait until 2014 January now to start first year afresh. It was the most disturbing time of my life when I failed that supplementary. I could sleep. I was hosted by a close friend of mine called Dr. Edward Jenga. May God bless him. Alikuwa amenihost hapo, the hall was Mugabe. Mugabe hapo, there is a hostel in Apakabeta campus called Mugabe. So he hosted me there. Now I had bought my books to join. I knew I was joining second year. Nilikuwa nimenunua vitabu, hata nikaanza ku attend some lessons as I was waiting for the results of the supplementary to come out. Kukuja, we had failed, many of us, including me. So it was very disturbing moment. I was depressed for a very long time. So
was the exam hard?
I don't know what happened, because when I repeated that year, I was the best student in the whole class when I repeated, because then I had just that exam to do. But during that moment, it was the most difficult moment of my life. I felt bad because there is a neighbor of mine alikuja university bado akaenda kufanya Bachelor of Arts. He went and spread some weird rumors that nimeenda huko shule university sisomi. So you know now the villagers look at you differently. Oh, hata asomi ameanguka exam. And Makiu, he's doing Bachelor of Arts. I'm doing Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine. And that guy is going to spread some weird rumors in the village. So I really felt bad. But on one Friday, I called my parents, explained to them what has happened. Wakaniambia wewe tukuja nyumbani. So I stayed at home. Nikakaa kidogo. I looked for a school to teach. I went to teach Jabini High School. Nilikuwa huyo mwalimu hapo alikuwa rafiki yangu. So nikafunza hapo kidogo hadi wakafunga shule. So now I went to start now first year again in 2014. Thank God this time I have a single unit, so I focused. Naamuka tu asubuhi ni kuenda tu kusoma, but kidogo I had to survive, look for ways of getting money. I applied for work study program at the university. By then the dean was Father Wamogonda, so he gave me some opportunity to work at the Riziki restaurant. It's a posh restaurant at the university where our lecturers and senior staff take their meals from. So by then our vice chancellor was Professor Mangoha. So we would take tea to his office, these errands that you are told to do in the hotel. Hizo kazi ndogo tu zenye unaweza fanya kwa hoteli. They were paying, I guess, per day 370 thereabout. So
that was a good money for a student.
Yes. Okay. And Makiu now I'm not paying even for breakfast, for lunch. Na jioni nabeba chakula kuenda nayo kwa room. So I was hosted now by a friend of mine mwenye nilikuta kwa fellowship, anaitwa Nelson Amoy. So we were not cooking even because then we had enough food. So I really found it very easy now when I went back. Juu niko na tu pesa kidogo, I can pay my school fees, vitu kama hizo. Yeah, so I guess that was easy. And throughout my school life then I would get help and pay school fees. Nafanya tu vibarua nalipa school fees. I remember in second year when we went for long holiday, nilikuwa na Hawk Mandazi. He's a friend of mine who was called Ron. Alikuwa the church I was going to, then Kabete altar. Alikuwa na one of the members there. So she had a bakery. So naenda hapo wananipea, ananiambia zungusha. So that is, I used to walk from Dumboini to Kangemi on foot. So unazungusha hiyo area yote ya Dumboini, unaenda hadi Kangemi all the way to Odhero kuuza hizo nini. I mean all the way to this place called what? Karibu Keno, huko juu. Kujaribu tu ku make a life, but all the same, the following year
ilikuwa inalipa.
Iko inalipa because unapewa pakiti moja inakubakishia 10 bob.
Ungeuza
unapewa na 50, unauza ningeuza hata pakiti say about maybe 30 in a day. So unakosa mia yako tatu. You know.
300.
So 300 shillings na hakuna expenses juu unakula tu hapo. It was easy na uko long holiday. So the following year I bought a trolley ya smoky na mayai. That is what I was doing after I finished my attachment. So nikafanya hiyo. For the year nilifanya nini? Nikatafuta tu some for the year I was quite busy, so I did not do much. But sasa from there I would say ni struggle through from first year, second year, third year, because veterinary medicine is not an easy course. There is so much to study, so little time. Kazi ni mingi, masaa ni machache. So you had to do so much group discussions with our good friends, akina Onsongo, akina Teddy, akina Maritim Cherono, akina Speciusa, akina Ashna Mamrani. So we formed a group, akina Andrew Kimani, we formed a group discussion. Yes. So we would discuss over lunch hour. We would, once we break at 12:30, we would meet at 1. Study up to 2. Attend the next lecture. After classes, meet at 5, up to 6. That is how we survived from second year up to fourth year. Because fifth year, you are subdivided in groups and it was not easy to meet. So all of us survived that way in vet school. The only other supplementary I got was fifth year, in a unit called theriogenology, or in simple terms, obstetrics and gynecology. So I don't know what happened. I was the group rep. Mimi ndio na watu wananipea assignments zao na wapelekea. But unfortunately, I don't know what happened. Nikapata supplementary, but thank God when I was given a chance to do it again, nikapita. So university life was not very easy, but pia inataka mtu ajikaze. I've seen many of my colleagues wanajiingiza into other things, bang, nini, drinking, politics. They never finished. Some of them were killed on the streets. I know people wenye wanaenda kustrike, kutana na polisi, they are shot, wengine wanavunjwa miguu na mikono, others never finish, others give up and just abandon masomo altogether, but thank God I finished.
Apart from failing in the first year, which is the other most humiliating moment in the university experience?
I guess hiyo ya kufail was the most humiliating because I have never failed again in my life. that was the first moment I was failing was in first year. So the second time I'm failing now was when I was in fifth year. It is my final exam. I'm supposed to just finish here and graduate. But unakuta unaanguka. But then you learn that you can always, after falling down, you can dust yourself and just continue, because in this life you have just to keep going. Hakuna ati kukaa hapo chini. Unaanguka, unaamuka, unajidust mbio mbio, ukisonga. Hakuna masaa ya kuwaste.
Now come for the year.
Yes.
How was it?
For the year was very, I would say, a bit easier than the other years.
Okay.
Because the units were few. For me, I found for the year easier, because in that year we were doing around, I guess, 8 to 9 units. I can't remember properly. So for the year they were about 5 or 4. Now going to 5th year, you are not doing any more classes. Mnafanya kitu inaitwa rotations. So this time you are doing surgery, the next time you are doing ambulatory, as in moving around to treat animals under the supervision of a lecturer. The other time you are in the laboratory analyzing some samples. The other time you are doing research of your project. So those are the things you are doing in vet school. It was quite interesting. It taught me never to give up. It taught me that regardless of how many things there are, you have just to do them. And it also taught me to be good at what you are doing. Whatever it is that you find your heart doing, just go and do it properly. If it is worth doing, as the wise men say, it is worth doing properly. So it was a nice time. I enjoyed myself at vet school, and I don't regret, even despite all the small hitches that I found along the way, I don't regret doing veterinary medicine.
I know we will come to that, but every student in the university, which we will come to it, is always looking on that day of graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that day, which we will come to it later, kindly tell us another exciting moment, the exciting moment you had in the university.
Exciting moments is every time on the notice board, because when we were students, I don't know if that happens even now, kuna kuanga na results zikitokea wanapin kwa notice board. So once the cuts are done, the cuts are out of 30. Ukienda ukute uko na maybe 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, unajua umeponea. Ukikuta uko na 15, unajua hiyo somehow supplementary is around the corner. But once tu ningeenda tu hivi nikute in all those units niko na kitu 18, 19, 20, unashukuru tu, because at the end of the day you will pass your exam, and it is not just about if you passed with an A, because our pass mark is 50% as compared to other courses is 40%. Ukienda tu ukute umefikisha the 50% mark when the results are out at the end of the year, you are just happy, because at least you know maisha inasonga. I can tell you there are many people who spent 10 years at the university studying veterinary medicine, because every year na repeat na ni miaka 5, so I repeat how many
10 years,
a whole 10 years. Unakuta mtu ni registration at 2010, but that guy is graduating at 2020. Others wana defer, others need disciplinary issues nini. Although sasa you waste an extra year for my case ya repeat, but I compared to other people who probably were not lucky, maybe they got discontinued, or so they had to repeat every other year. So at least for me it was easier. Yes.
Viewers, I hope you are enjoying this story of Dr. Paul Kangethe. We are just located here in Utawala, Summer Village Oasis Swimming Pool. This is a very nice place. You can come, you enjoy, you have with your children, and they will enjoy. So back again to Dr. Paul Kangethe. Tell us, how was your graduation, or did you graduate? Can you tell us?
It was very interesting, because even before I graduated, I had an opportunity to work at the offices of Kenya Veterinary Association, that is located in Kabete. I worked there from around March to, I guess, July, and then I worked with a branch of KVA called KCSE Have, self-employed veterinarians, under the leadership of Akina Dr. Mary Madhenge, may God bless them, Dr. Kerigia, Dr. Ndegwa, and those other veterinarians, of organizing a field day in Nyandarua. So in the month of August 2019, from around date 16 to 18, we had a field day where we were bringing together farmers to come and learn from the various pharmaceuticals who had come, and companies, banks who could lend them money and things like that. That was an achievement for me, even before I graduated. So, and then from there, I decided to start an internship at the KTN Farmers TV, but that I started on the 22nd of August, but I graduated on the 6th of September. So in the 6th of September now, it was the best moment of my life. My parents were happy, my friends came, thank God you also came. It was a very good moment because now, you know, wale walisikia tulienda university kucheza now have a chance to see me graduating.
Sure.
Yeah? And it was a good moment because at least now unaitwa daktari. You know, it was not easy going through, my academic journey has not been easy as far as finances are concerned, but thank God now that was a moment ya kuonyesha hata watoto wa maskini wanaweza graduate, you know. Because I remember when we were joining form 1, kuna mama tu hapo jirani tu the husband was a teacher initially. Aliuliza, sasa huyo mtoto wa baba Mwihaki amepita ataenda high school na nini na baba yake hajaajiriwa, you know. So since my father was a mason, akajituma tu, he would work in the school and do those odd jobs in the dining halls, fixing chairs and things, zingine kwa shamba, but he paid my school fees nikamaliza. So now we had to make sure that we have invited that mama to come to my graduation, a witness ya kwamba
huyo mtoto wa baba
huyo mtoto mwenye alikuwa anaulizia mambo yake ya high school amegraduate university.
Kweli.
No. So it just teaches me that since you don't know someone's tomorrow, and everybody's tomorrow is in the hands of God, just give them a chance. Hata kama humpay anything, just pray for them or wish them well, you know, because it's their life na Mungu ndiye anajua ni wapi atahitaji. So the other day, some few months later, I went treating their cows at their home. So yako tu hapo amenyamaza because one, she didn't even know or she was not even sure ati nitaenda high school, nikaenda nikamaliza. She was not sure ningeenda university, nikamaliza na akaniona nikigraduate, na sasa mimi ni daktari wa mifugo yao. Of course the husband is good hearted and that's why I went to their home, but it just teaches me one thing: just wish people well. No matter their struggles or anything they are going through in life, Mungu atawasaidia and they will overcome. So for me, anybody struggling outside there, somehow that is how life is, but you must overcome those troubles. Ndio mtu mwenye anasema that situation cannot be done, akuje aone testimony ya kwamba mwenye alisema haiwezekani inawezekana, Mungu amekutendea, you know. Of course for the glory of God, see ati I'm bragging or anything, but I'm trying to say at least when God does it, everybody can see amefanya, and it is happening, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Dr. Paul Kangethe,
yes,
your story is so amazing. The journey, it has not been easy. I know someone somewhere is being inspired by this story.
Yes.
And someone who is almost losing hope and giving up, na kuona ya kwamba yeye hawezi make in life. I can say you are a source of inspiration to many youths who have lost hope, to many students who are in the university. Some are in high school, some are even in the primary schools, and they are just looking at their background and seeing as if they cannot make it. I can say you are a source of a very big inspiration to their life, and they can just look at your life and say, if Dr. Paul Kangethe have made it, why not me?
I always say, my good friend Masharia, it is not about where you are born. That is not up to you. It is not about the circumstances zenye unakutana nazo. There may be nothing kabisa you can do about it. But what are you willing to do about that situation? You know, you cannot just sit down and complain, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the other. But can you teach yourself to be grateful? You are grateful for life because there is someone who is in the hospital beds and they can't do nothing. You have regs, you have a sober mind, unaweza enda shule usome. You know, and at least uko na hiyo nafasi ya kwenda kusoma. So I always tell people, no matter the circumstance or the situations you are going through, one, you must overcome so that you can, from that history, you can have a story. You see that? And from the trials, you can have a testimony. But if you are faced with the situations and you allow them to pin you down, bwana hapo hakuna story. But the better part of it, or the juicy part of the story, is that yes, there were issues and everything, but you overcame, and that only can come from within. Hakuna ati mtu mzazi atakufunza ku overcome, hakuna ati mtu atakufunza nini, wewe ndio unajua kitu unataka. And if you want ABCD, lazima ufanye kazi regardless what that is. Ukiwa pale high school, ukiwa pale primary school, ukiwa college, uni, wherever you are, kwa biashara, you may be struggling, but you have to tell God, I want ABCD, and go ahead and work, because the Bible is very careful to write to us that God blesses the work of our hands. So you ask yourself, mikono yako Mungu anapokuja kubariki kazi za watu wengine, wewe atabariki yako nini? You know, because you could just be wasting time around, and you are just a wish person. Una wish to wish, I wish. Don't start wishing, start doing. Pore pore tu, your step tu moja moja. You know, that is when God will help you. God will send you help. Mtu tu akujui, unakutana naye. In fact, I forgot to mention, in that struggle now, because I wanted to read extra at night, that our chemistry school teacher, chemistry teacher alikuwa anaitwa Mr. Wambogo. He used to give me 200 shillings every week ya kununua mafuta taa, so that nikifika nyumbani saa 4 usiku nasoma hadi midnight. May God bless his soul. Huyo mzee alikuwa ananisaidia, and it's my desire that someday Mungu anaweza tu nipea pesa, because there are people outside here who are struggling. At least you hold their hand, you pay for their school fees. You never know, you touch the life of that person, kesho Mungu ataenda huko awabariki. You know, so I believe nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. You just have to be passionate and dedicated and disciplined kwa zile vitu unafanya, and everything else falls into place. Yes.
That is powerful.
Yes.
And very inspiring. Now tell us, how did you find yourself a journalist? I understand one thing, you are a veterinary. How did you find yourself at Standard Media Group? And yet I know there are no cows.
Yeah, mtu atashangaa Standard Group hakuna ng'ombe, but I'm working there.
Yes.
Yeah, so it happened that around the 20th of July, thereabout,
Yes.
Can't remember the exact date, the Standard Media Group had organized an expo, a students, a career fair, yes, career fair, at the KCSE. And I remember I went, and going there, I met the Standard Media Group, the whole of it, Radio Maisha, KTN News, KTN Farmers TV. They had camped there, and many other universities and colleges had tents where high school students were given a chance to go shop for courses that they would want to do wakifika pale university or college. So mimi nikaenda tu just because I just wanted to see what was going on. So when the session ended, the talent manager or HR manager by then, Mr. Nicholas Iwatom, sorry, organized a forum for question and answers session with the students. And I remember me going there, and I introduced myself. I said, my name is Dr. Paul Kangethe. I asked my question. So when I finished, one Mwende from Radio Maisha, I don't know if you know her, she told Siwatom, si huyu unaweza mpea internship pale Farmers TV. That is how I got my internship.
Okay.
Siwatom told me, just write me an email, send me your documents, and then we give you a call. Nikachukua namba yake, and then I started the internship. I did the internship for 3 months. It was a 3 months internship. Before it ended, I requested for extension. Usually they don't extend the internship. Na ujue hii internship unalipwa 6,000. Sasa hizo
umegraduate Nairobi.
Na uko Nairobi na wewe ni vet. Nilikuwa naishi hapo Kobir, around Kobir kuna around Mombasa Road kuna place inaitwa Kobir hapo. So house rent yangu ilikuwa 5k. I requested for another 3 months and then wakakubali. So I was now perfecting the skills because in journalism now I knew what to say, but they were teaching me how to say it. You know, in media you have to come down to the level of a farmer, you know. Yes, because sure, the farmer cannot understand the scientific terms tunatumianga shule. So you have to come down to their level and explain, huyu ng'ombe wako ako na mastitis. Mastitis ni nini? Inaletwa na nini? Na utafanyaje so that to avoid, you know. Ama hiyo kesi yenye imekukuta kwa kuku zako zikakufa, what can you do to prevent isikuje kesho, you know. As in you trying to help the farmer in that case. Now from a surgeon point of view I have the information, but the media is teaching me how to say it or how to go about disseminating that information. And for me it's been quite a journey. I've traveled many parts of this country, I've interacted with many people, yeah, and I just feel good helping farmers realize that their business, their agriculture ventures can become agribusiness ventures, you know, just to make sure that you are thinking with profit in mind, or you are running your agriculture venture as an agribusiness, unaona. So that usifikirie tu kulima waru, fikiria about the cost, ile variety wa waru unapanda, utauza pesa ngapi, all those things. Na kama unaweza uenda utengeneza ka hoteli somewhere upikie watu chipo, you will even get better. Kama unalima ng'ombe, think about how can I add value to hii maziwa, kitu kama hizo. Or whatever else yenye unafanya, think about value addition. How can you earn an extra coin from your agribusiness ikupe pesa zaidi, unaona. So at least interacting with farmers in those sessions. Again, I have had many trainings for farmers we have organized with the Farm Kenya initiative, which is a part of the Standard Media Group, where we have trained farmers in Eldoret, farmers in Meru, other farmers here in Nairobi many times, just on many things, poultry, pigs, dairy, hizi vitu, just to teach them. And most importantly, just to tell the youths that there is a future in agriculture, because we eat on a daily basis. Yeah? Na ukiangalia food regardless ya hiyo vita iko huko Ukraine na Russia, we have to eat. So it's upon us to take up that mantle and be the source of the food security of this country. Kuna mashamba, we can do irrigation, and Kenya is better even than Israel, because Israel is a desert. But for us to irrigate, tutafanikiwa. Lakini sasa unaona watu, of course, some government priorities also are misplaced because they don't invest where they are supposed to be. Instead of them doing a multi-billion project ya barabara, so you invest kwa agriculture and people can still navigate their way around the city, sure, and these things, you know. Sure. But of course, being in the media also has helped me to run the issues of society, which then they need to know, and most importantly, identify issues as a farmers, you know, because farmers have many issues, some of which they have no control, but once they are given a little help, a little boost, or given the right information, for example, they are able even to perform better, as it were, so that then they are able to produce better, they are able to produce clean food, they are able to produce enough food and make money where at it. So I guess it's been an interesting moment for me in the media.
Normally follow your shows,
yes,
on KTN News and also on KTN Farmers. You can also tell us, because I have also seen you on TV doing shows. How the very first time you appeared on the camera, and then you knew that these people were watching you. The whole Kenya was watching you and outside.
Everybody has had their first time. That is what I always say.
Yes.
So there is this moment when I was needed to explain something about farming, as it were, and it was I knew it was going to be aired on KTN news. So for me it was somehow a tense moment, I would say, because I didn't know exactly how I would perform, because you don't know the questions that the person will ask you. Of course you have an idea, they want maybe to discuss dairy or poultry farming, but you don't know what exactly. So for me, I always go back and check my figures, just to be sure that the information or the data I'll give is the correct information. And then since I know the issues, what the issues are, it is not a very difficult moment because it is information that I have within me. So I just refresh and then come and air it. But interestingly, I'm happy because I know that my parents somehow would see, or if they don't see, the neighbors will tell them, hey, we saw your son on TV, or we saw your brother or sister on, your brother on TV. So it's a happy moment for me because at the end of the day, I'm helping a farmer outside there. I know that they can produce better, they can earn better from their agribusiness ventures. Yeah, for me, so it's joy again, knowing that you are touching the life of someone in a different way, and of course the media gives you such an opportunity to touch the lives of so many people at a go or at a moment. So for me, it's such a joy.
Oh,
Yes.
that's very interesting.
Yes.
So you have family?
Yeah, I am married.
Yes.
And I have 2 beautiful daughters.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a father of 2.
Your father of
Yes,
two.
yes,
Oh, that's great. That's powerful.
yes,
So as we wind up this show,
yes.
I have some just random questions.
Okay.
Which is one thing, that weird thing you have ever done in your life
Weird thing,
that you have ever done?
I would say the most weird thing I did in my life was drinking. Because when we were in Narok, this with this friend of mine, they used to perform very well in sales. So their boss would come once in a while and just treat them to an evening out. So he would invite me. I remember I took Kingfisher that time, but fortunately I vomited the whole night. From that day on, I promised myself I'll never take
never-
alcohol again.
So you don't
Yeah.
take alcohol.
I've never taken alcohol since that time.
Okay.
Yes.
Which is that lie that you have ever lied to a person? Yani uongo yenye ushaidanganyana kwa maisha yako yenyewe, unaona hapo kweli nimedanganya.
A time, can I remember? I don't know. I can't really remember exactly that one time I lied. I can't remember.
Which is your best news anchor?
Yes.
Your best news anchor?
For me, all of them are serious anchors, including my good boss Abi Agina, because for him we are in the business segment, and the way he drives his interviews with the top names in the corporate world just shows that he understands the concept that he's talking about, be it in studio or outside there in the field. So for me, he's my role model.
Okay.
Yes.
Which music do you listen?
For me, usually I listen to worship music or gospel music, especially our local music. But most of the times you find me listening to Kikuyu music, gospel, zile za 90s, yeah, which they were straight from scripture, and those people did not come there to dance or do many things, but just they had a message to pass across, as opposed to the modern day gospel music where people are just coming to show off their dancing skills and this thing without a message. But for me, I love that ancient music, especially the Kikuyu
Zilizopendwa.
Kewosho. Yes, Zilizopendwa Kewosho. I also listen to most Kina Hillsong and the other friends, some other good worship artists from Nigeria, who do some very good music, like My Beautifier and many others that
Okay.
is uplifting, because you have to listen to a message you listen to worship that is going to impact you, not just listening for the sake of listening, but just listen with an intention of being uplifted. Yes.
Okay. Which is your worst artist? Your worst artist?
Okay, I would not say that I have a worst artist, but I always feel very uneasy when someone starts doing gospel, alafu kidogo anaanza kufanya secular. So for me, I'm like, Didn't you find satisfaction in what you were doing that you sought refuge in?
Can you name some of those artists?
Probably I will not mention names at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yes.
Your favorite meal?
My favorite meal any day is mokimo.
If you are given a chance to travel outside the country, which country would you wish to travel?
I would desire to travel to Australia.
Oh, Australia. Why Australia?
Because those guys are doing very well in dairy farming.
So, if you were to meet the minister for agriculture in this country, what advice would you give him?
If I would meet the agriculture minister in this country, I would like to tell him that agriculture is dying in Kenya. That is what I would like to tell him. Because you find that we are importing wheat, we are importing fertilizers, we are importing maize, we are importing nearly everything. And what we are exporting is just coffee and maybe tea and some vegetables and some flowers. But as it were, we have so much potential as a country. By just giving support to farmers in form of subsidies, developing irrigation infrastructure, and just a favorable environment, removing all those weird taxes that they tax farm inputs and such, the farmers can do better. But because that would lower down their cost of production, meaning if someone was to produce a liter of milk at 35, with subsidies they can produce at 30 or 25. And by selling that liter at 45, they are making 20 bob per liter. So if someone has 20 liters or 30, that guy has 600 shillings on a good day, you see. And the same goes across board, be it potatoes, be it avocados, be it carrots, be it anything else, you see. We can be self-reliant as a country in terms of food security, but that cannot be achieved when the leadership is not right, especially when it comes to policies, by making sure that policies that are pro-farmer, that are for the farmer, are not addressed. But who am I?
Advise the youth.
The youth of nowadays have a long way to go, because basically they have a wrong attitude towards life, and most of them feel that or center everything around money. It's not about money. Sometimes it's about attitude. You tell someone to come for an attachment or an internship that is not paid, the first question wanakuuliza kuna pesa, you know. So if you center your life around money, you may find that you may miss many good opportunities, because you may hear stories of people who started out as interns. Hiyo mtu anapewa kazi anakuwa hata ndiye mkubwa hiyo kampuni, you see. So I would want to advise them, learn as many skills as you can, whatever the opportunities that could be. Unaweza kuwa hata unalipa fare yako ukienda hiyo place ya internship, ama hata unatumia your own money to go, or even some places require you to pay so that you can go there for internship, you know. But the greater goal is for them to gain the skills, and once now you have skills, you can sell them at whatever price you want to sell those skills, you know. Kwa sababu sasa ukiwa na skills, you are able to do work that unaweza kuwa unalipwa pesa mingi. Finally, maisha ni yako, yeah. So it's how you want to live that life. If you want just to keep complaining the whole of your life, so be it. But you can do something about it. If you can do something about it, go ahead and do it. Yeah. I always say, if there is nothing you can do about it, just leave the issue. But if there is something you can do about the issue, just go ahead and do it. You know. So the youths wajitume, maisha ni vile utaiweka, and most importantly, kuna mtu tu anakuangaliaga hivi, anakosa ku give up kwa sababu wewe unaendelea kujikaza. So if you give up, huyo mtu mwenye anakuangalia na haumjui will also give up, you see. So even for those people wenye wanakuangalia tu secretary na haujui, don't give up for their sake. And most important, wazazi, don't disappoint, because they've given everything yenye wanaweza peana for your sake. So it's your chance to make them proud. That's all I can say to the youths of this country, that maisha ni vile utaiweka. Maisha vile utajipanga ndivyo itakuwa, otherwise maisha itakupanga, you know.
Wow. Yes. I hope the youth of this country, we are hearing from Dr. Paul Kangethe. I'm so glad that he created time and he has listened has spoken a lot of wisdom and a lot of inspiration to ads, and it has, for me, it has been a challenge from the story of Dr. Paul Kangethe.
Thank you very much.
So, Dr.
Yes.
Paul Kangethe,
Yes.
thank you so much for creating time,
Thank you.
for visiting us.
Yes.
This is Mashdan Media. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome so much. Welcome so much.